Okay.
Okay, so I'm now recording it, and then okay, we are sharing the screen, we are recording everything. So as I said, I want you guys to tell me some of the things you do when you are preparing for school every
Okay.
morning.
Just come closer.
So I mean, there's no wrong answer, there's no right answer. Everybody should just mention one or two things you do. You mention one each. When you
Okay.
wake
Just
up in the morning and then you are preparing for school.
We brush our teeth.
Okay, you brush your teeth. What else?
Janelle.
You dress up.
You dress up. Okay. What else do you do?
You eat.
You eat or you take breakfast, right? Okay, but before all these, before brushing your teeth, before you eat, before you dress up and everything, you will first of all wake up, right?
Yeah.
So the first step is wake up. So you find out that, let me get this thing here. So I've tried to list some of the things here. So I've done wake up, I've done brush your teeth, and then maybe you bath, of course. Then you dress up. Then what else is there after you dress up? Maybe something like you pack your bag. You pack your school bag, right? Pack your school bag.
Yeah.
Let me make my screen a bit bigger so that you can see my typing. Okay, so I've made, oh, it's too big. Okay, I think this is okay. So you pack your
Yes.
school bag, right? And
Yes.
then you go to school. So let's put the last one as go to school.
We take our
Um,
breakfast before we go.
you take what?
Breakfast before we go.
Hey, I forgot the breakfast. So you take breakfast, which is here. I'll do the breakfast before you pack your bags. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can do it the other way around. Breakfast. Okay, so you take breakfast and go to school. So these are some of the steps we use. We do. These are things we do before we go to school, right? When you are preparing for school. So now, wake up is the first step. Brush your teeth. You bathe or you bath. When you are bathing, there are several things you do when you are bathing. Like obviously, you will remove your clothes first, right? Remove remove clothes. Um, then you would maybe, I don't know, let's say you have the warm water already. You pour water on yourself. Pour water. You would maybe use soap. Let's just say use soap or soap and sponge. Let's say soap and sponge
Yes.
um, to scrub your body. So that's another one. Use soap and sponge. You scrub your body too. Sorry, SCRUB. You scrub your body. After that, you would even clean yourself with a towel.
Mm-hmm.
Clean with a towel. Um, okay. So all these things are just under bathing. You see, so when we say
Mm-hmm.
bath, it's not just bath. It's so many things you do under bathing alone or bathing. That's what the Abrofo will say. Then you dress up. So even under dress up, what are some of the things you think you will do under dress up?
You need to wear your socks.
Yeah, wear your socks. Okay, let's put all under maybe, let's say you wear your socks, you wear your underwear, you wear your, obviously you have to pomade yourself with some cream or all that. Pomade yourself,
Brush your hair.
brush your hair, all those things. Brush hair. Then let's say wear clothes. Let's just make it wear clothes. That will cover for everything from your socks to everything. So you can see now all these are things we do. I'm starting with this for a reason. So now, when I tell you, let's say I speak with Sugar and I say, Sugar, go and
Yes,
bath. When I say, Sugar, go and bath or take a bath, once I say just this, what I mean is you should do all these things here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things before you finish just the bathing part. And this is what in programming we call something a function. A function. Let me just spell it here. So we've started function.
Right.
So a function is a set of instructions that we put together into just one. We call it, like, we organize all the instructions and we put together as one. Then we call it a function. So when I say bath or go and bath, it's just one thing. I've just said it once, but it means you should remove your clothes, you should pour water on yourself, you should take soap and sponge, scrub your body, and then after that you clean. You obviously will wash yourself again with water. So the wash with water will be twice. You maybe pour some water on yourself before you bath. Then when you are finishing you wash the soap off. Pour water to wash the soap off before even you clean yourself. So when we put all these instructions, you don't want to say them one by one. You put all together and then you say it as one thing. It means you've created a function. So now everybody knows functions, right?
Yes,
So this bathing is a function. Dressing up is a function. Even taking breakfast, you put the food in your mouth. Obviously you prepare the food first and all that. When I even say pack your bag means you are going to put your books in your bag. You pick a pencil, put it in your bag. So many things you put in your bag. Then we know that you've packed your bag, right? So pack your bag is just a simple thing, just like we humans. When I say it, you understand it. But for the computer, when you say pack your bag, it needs the individual instructions one by one before it will do the pack your bag. So that's what we call a function. A function is when we put several instructions together as one unit. So for instance, we've done wake up, brush your teeth, bath, everything. I can put all these in one function. All these we've done this afternoon in one function. And I can call that function prepare for school. And normally this is how when we are writing a function, we always put the bracket beside it. And every programmer knows that once you put this bracket beside it, it's a function. So I can just say prepare for school. And once I say prepare for school, all these things, you will do them one by one like that. And that's a function, right? So we have functions in programming. And every time you hear of function, it means that we have put some instructions together and then we've given it a name. So most functions have a name. So I can decide that prepare for school is a function. So we give it a name. Maybe we can change the names, but whatever instruction is inside is inside. For instance, the bathing part, we can decide that we want to use some coded something. So instead of saying bath, we will say, we'll just give it an let's say some coded language that we have decided. So when we say XYZ, once we say XYZ, we all know that XYZ means what? It means you are going to bath. So when you are coding, you will decide the name you are going to give to your functions. Nobody is going to ask you to, by force, give it a particular name. But for most of the time, we prefer to give it a name that is meaningful. Something that when anybody sees, they know that, oh, okay, this is what this function is doing. Okay, so we've seen a function. I'm going to introduce another concept before we close. Okay, so now let's say you've gotten to school. All of you are in different classes, right?
Doctor, my hand is up.
Sorry, right? I'm not watching the Zoom side anymore. Okay, what was the question here?
Yeah, so I simply put, can I say function or a function is putting instructions together?
Yeah, that's all. You put all together as one. into like a particular name, give it a name, then you call it a function.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. So instructions, several instructions, and the function can even just contain one instruction, just one. If you want to create just one and make it a function, that's fine. The computer will still follow that. So long as you've created a function, and once the computer sees this symbol beside the name, it knows that it's a function. For most programming languages, we use this to represent a function. So wake up is a function, so I'll do this. Brush teeth is a function, I'll add it. So you can see base, I'll do that, everything like that. Now let's say you've gotten to school. When you get to school, all of you are in different classes, right? Okay, so somebody is in class 1, somebody is in class 3, somebody is in class 5. That's a class. Let me see. So that's a class. I want to put an asterisk beside it because it's an important concept you need to know in programming. So a class, when we say a class, I'm trying to use something we do every day to explain the concept. When we start programming, we will code, but you see that all these things will become meaningful to you. So when you get to your class, you are not the only person in your class, right? There are many people in your class. And in programming, let's say in your class, Sugar is there, Sugar's friend is there, everybody is there. Though everybody in that class is a class, or let's say that's your grade, grade 1 or class 1, grade 2 or class 2. Okay, fine. You are inside the class. Now, everybody in the class is a living thing. A living thing or a human being in that class. Everybody can perform a function. We just finished functions. So everybody in that class can perform a function, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, everybody can perform a function. In programming, when we talk about a class, the people in the class, we refer to them as objects. So when we go to objects, let me say this. So a class has objects like that, right? So a class, when we go to your class, we will not refer to the people in your classroom as people. We refer to them as objects. So in programming, we refer to everybody in your classroom as what? A living object. And we know that refers to the people, but we don't say that. We say the objects in your class. And the objects in your class are living. They can do things. So the objects in your classroom can perform functions. Like in your classroom, the objects in your classroom can do their homework. They can talk. They can answer questions in class. And all these, if I say you should talk, you should answer a question, you should read your book, all these things I'm saying, they are actually functions. So I can give you an instruction like, bring your school bag. You know that to go and bring your school bag, you walk and go and pick it up, walk and bring it back. So it's like I've told you a function to do. There's a function, an instruction you are supposed to follow. So when you get into a normal classroom, let's say inside the classroom, the teachers have pasted all the functions on the walls, just like the way you have the teaching aids and the posters. So inside your classroom, we have functions that have been pasted on the wall. All the instructions have been pasted on the wall inside your classroom. And you, the people in the classroom, are the objects in the classroom. Okay. So I can call somebody in the classroom, like, let me call this day, today I'm on Sugar. So I can call Sugar. When I call Sugar, that's the name Sugar or Jason. If I say Jason is an object in his class. And I can say Jason. When I call Jason, he knows I'm calling him. Then I say, Jason, do your homework. When I say Jason, do your homework, Jason knows that That's the instruction. So we said that all the instructions have been pasted on the walls in the classroom. So those instructions are the functions. Do you understand? So now I can put the three together. So I can say that a class contains what? It contains objects and functions. So when we put a lot of functions together with what we call an object or a living something that can perform the function, we put all together in a place or any space, we call it what? A class. I'm just trying to explain this concept. When we start coding, we'll be using classes, objects, functions. And when I mention a class, you should just picture it like a classroom with people inside. And the people inside are the objects. And the functions are the instructions that have been pasted on the walls in the class. So everybody in the classroom can be asked to go and read a particular function, and then they will perform that function. Like I can mention, Jason, sharpen your pencil. Then Jason knows that the instruction is there. So it will follow that instruction and then sharpen their pencil. So that's how in programming, these are some of the things. So you saw in the video that I made you watch how they were giving instructions one by one to the people to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. When they were giving the instructions, those are instructions that you are giving single, one by one. But we can put some of the instructions together and then give it a name. So for instance, I can just say, okay, normally when we give it a name, we try to use one word. So I can just say this. I can say, Jason, prepare for school. And Jason knows that it means that he has to wake up, he has to brush his teeth, he has to bath, he has to do everything. And since Jason is a member of the class, most of the time, every function, we try to put it in a class. Every object, we try to put it in a class. Okay, now that I've spoken about objects, let me talk a little bit about objects and then we can close. So an object, as I said, an object is like a living thing that can perform a function, right? And the objects are normally put into classes. It's not by force. You can just have an object that is not in any class, but we try to put things in, we group things in programming. So we normally do that. So now an object, let's say an object, which I'm using to refer to, let's say, a human being in a classroom. An object has what we call attributes. Okay, so right now we are speaking, all these things are English words, so they are not any, they are just, you see, programming, they are using English to create the programming language. So it's just English. So an object has attributes. Now, just like a human being has attributes. So for instance, when I say Jason, Jason has 2 eyes. So it's an attribute is a characteristic of an object. So Jason has 2 eyes. What other characteristics or what other attributes does Jason have? Anybody can give me an example.
No, talk.
Somebody mention something.
Talk louder.
I can't hear you.
2 hands.
He has 2 hands. Okay. So he has hands. That's it.
Yes,
he has what? A nose. I can't hear you. You people are not shouting. Is that how you shout in school? I can't hear you.
Jason is slim.
Jason is slim.
He's slim, yes. So that's a characteristic as well. So when we take an object, which is, let me say, we are comparing it to a human being. An object has attributes, which are the characteristics of that object. So you find out that all those objects are in the classroom. Different objects can have different attributes. For instance, some objects in the same class can be, let's say somebody is a talkative, but somebody is quiet. Somebody has red eyes. Somebody has blue eyes. Somebody has black. Their eyes are black. I can't hear you.
Someone is short.
Somebody is short. Somebody is tall. So when we have the objects, we also create the attributes. So remember, a computer is just a machine. So when you are putting all these functions and classes and objects and things in the computer doesn't know anything. You have to tell it what it should do. So for instance, you give the computer an instruction that you want the computer to draw a car. It should draw a car on the screen. So it will start drawing the car. But you have to tell it the color of the car. Then it will color the car. Maybe you want it green. It will color it green. If you don't tell it that the car should have 4 tires, if you don't tell it, the computer wouldn't know. If you even tell it to put 1 tire. Hello, can you hear me?
We lost you small.
Okay. So yeah, what I was saying is that a computer will follow your instructions. So because a computer is a machine and you are the one going to create your functions, your classes, your objects and everything, you have to tell it everything about the object when you are creating an object. For instance, you can tell the computer to draw a car on the screen. So the computer will start drawing the car on the screen, your computer screen, your monitor. Now, you have to tell the computer the color of the car. So you tell the computer, oh, it should make your car red or green. Then the computer will change the color to red or green. Then you tell the computer maybe your car should have 4 tires. Then the computer will put 4 tires under the car. If you tell the computer to put 6 tires, it will still put 6 tires because it's just following your instruction. And then somebody too will tell the computer, as for my car, I want it to have just 1 tire. The computer will put it there. So we create functions like that. We create objects like that, and then we put them into classes. That's how programming is done. So I've used this first introduction to introduce. So I've just introduced terms to you. We haven't even started coding. It's just some terms I'm just introducing because when we start, we'll be using these terms like an object, a class, a function, and then I don't want you to be lost. The same way I gave you the link to the W3 Schools website. You find out that when you are reading, they may be talking about objects and functions and classes and stuff. But if you don't understand it, you will get confused when you start reading. So it's important to know these terms before we go on with proper programming. And then it will also help you when you are reading, even online, you see some of these terms, you understand what is going on. So we've actually spoken about 4 terms, just 4, since I started talking. Let me put it this way. So I've just mentioned, so all this whole talk that I've talked about is about functions and what? Classes and objects and attributes. So those are just the 4 things I want you to note and just think about it. I have tried to explain it well using the daily things we do and then the concept of a classroom, because that's the simplest way I can explain it. If you read from any textbook, you will not find the way I've explained it. Most textbooks are using other ways of explaining it, but I found that this is the simplest way to explain it to beginners, so that you can picture it. You can picture it in your mind that there's a classroom, there are people in the classroom, and the people are the objects. The people are living, they can do things, they can perform actions, they can follow instructions. And the instructions are the functions, and the functions have been pasted in the classroom. So when we talk about a class contains both the objects and the functions. Okay, so I think we'll leave it here for now.
Okay.
We'll go on to other things and then we'll see. I didn't want to open any code for you to see. Maybe I may have to open one code just to stimulate you guys that we are doing coding. Okay. Where did I save that thing? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, fine. So let me just check if there's any JavaScript code here. We are dealing with JavaScript now. I mean, the concepts I'm teaching is not only in JavaScript. You use it in simple JavaScript code. Let me see this. You use the same concept in any other programming language, right? Yeah, so your line is breaking. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this thing I'm teaching here, we will use it in every programming language, whether we are learning Python or Java or JavaScript, or there are always functions, there are always classes, there are always objects, there are always attributes. And then one last thing before I go, let me just show you something before I go. So when, for instance, we've written the instructions here, prepare for school, everything, and then we have our objects. So let's say that Jason is in the class. So I can call the Jason, let me just use capitals for now, Jason, and I can say Jason dot, then I say Jason dot brush teeth. Do you understand? This is how we code. So I've called the object and I use a dot to tell it what to do. And then I say brush teeth. So once I write this, Jason knows that he's supposed to go and brush his teeth. You get me?
Yes.
And sometimes also we call the class first. So if let's imagine that I've put the whole thing, all we've done here today, I've put it in a class. I'm going to give it a name. So when we create a class, we call it class like this, CLAS, and then we give it a name. So I'll give it a class name like school. Okay, let's just leave it as school. So that's you were saying something, or you have a better name.
Summer school.
So the class is summer school, as you that's even great. So summer school, like that. Okay, no. So this is the name of the class, right? And under this class, we have all these functions and objects and everything. So I can decide that instead of just calling Jason, I'll say summer school, which is the name of the class, dot Jason dot brush teeth. So I have specified the exact class because there may be different classes. There may be, just like we have in schools, we have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. So if, for instance, we decide that we are calling grade 1, we'll say grade 1 dot Jason. So we know that there's a person in grade 1 called Jason. And then we say grade 1 dot Jason dot brush teeth. So we've told that one to brush his teeth. I can decide that I'll call somebody else in another class. So grade 4 dot Jason. So it means that there's another Jason in grade 4. And it's different from the grade 1 Jason. So I can call grade 4 Jason, and then I'll tell grade 4 Jason, instead of brush teeth, I'm telling grade 4 Jason to wake up. You get me? So now it means that I've given 2 different instructions to 2 different objects from 2 different classes. So the dot is like it points to something within the class and also points to the instruction you are giving to the object. So we can just do this. So one of the reasons we use functions is that I don't want to rewrite all this, remove clothes, pour water, everything. So I can just say, to make my work easier, I've defined all the functions already. So I can just say grade4.json.base. And that means that he's going to do all these things. I can also decide that, okay, instead of writing .base as just one function, if I want to type a lot, fine. I can still say grade1.json. Then I paste the whole thing here. But that will be too long and it's a waste of time. So I'll just do grade1.json.base. When in the system, it already knows that buffing includes all these things. It's a function. Okay, so we'll end here. I've shown you, this is what we call the dot notation, how we specify things. So you can have like several functions in your computer, but several functions and several classes in your computer that have been coded already. Sometimes, like for instance, when you buy a new computer, it comes with Windows. So Windows has several functions already that have been programmed in it. And then if you know the name of the function and the name of the class, you can call that function and give it some instruction. You can call that object from the class and then give it some instruction to do. And the instructions you give it, remember we said when you enter the classroom, the instructions have been pasted on the walls. So if you give it an instruction that is not in the classroom or it hasn't been pasted on the wall and it doesn't understand that instruction, it will give you an error.
Okay.
So the instructions must already be there. Before you tell it to do something, you must put the instruction there. That's why we define our functions first. Then we start calling the objects to do the functions within the class. Okay. Okay, so I think we've done quite well today. I hope everybody has understood these concepts. These are very important concepts that even people in university and the rest cannot, they find it difficult to understand.
That's true.
But once I've taken my time to use this concept, I've been trying to find a way of explaining this concept. I've struggled. It's me and Mandy, we've been playing around and then I just came up with this idea and explained to him. And I realized that he understood it. So I felt like, okay, then that's the best way to explain it because it's something real that you can you can imagine and you've seen it before in your classroom, in your dressing up every day and everything like that. It makes it more realistic. So always keep this in mind when we start the programming. Okay, so hopefully within the week, we'll find time and do another session. Okay, since you guys are on vacation, we'll see. Or, Mr. Jerry?
All right, doctor.
Are you at
Hello,
home?
doctor.
Or now they obeko Juma, so you
Meko Juma, but still they can do it because they have their MacBook and they have their phones too. So
okay. So they can join the Zoom. We'll find time. Since my children are on vacation these days, I'll find at least 1 hour to do these kind of things.
Thank
you. So you guys read. I can't hear you, please.
They also have a desktop, so in case of any assignment to get, they'll be able to.
Okay. I'll ask you questions next week, within the week, about these things we have discussed.
Okay.
Okay then. So well, bye for now. I think I've done a good job myself. I'm clapping for myself.
Sure.
Okay, so you guys will talk. I didn't let Mandy and Junior join because Omoye did it too. They will come and talk to me. Next time I'll let them join.
Sure.
I'll let them join. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so
thank
much.
you too. Yo, sure. Bye
Right.
then.
Enjoy the
Bye,
rest.
everybody.
Bye.
Okay.